Support for Seattle Now comes from the Pacific Northwest Waterways Association with the Columbia Snake River System, providing clean energy and sustainable commerce as Washington aims for carbon neutrality by 2030. Learn more at pnwa.net/rivervalues.
Hey, it's Patricia Murphy. It's Friday, Casual Friday, and this is Seattle Now. Fall arrived in the anarchist jurisdiction this week, and you should definitely keep your rain gear handy. The weekend is going to be wet, and you'll need your boots for the political storm that blew in from D.C. This is also the week we lost the iconic Ruth Bader Ginsburg. In a minute, we'll find out how success bully Keita Williams and the F-Bomb Breakfast Club's Megan McNally are getting through. But first, let's get you caught up. A Seattle police officer who biked over a protester in Capitol Hill is facing criminal charges. Video was recorded on Wednesday during a protest to demand justice for Breonna Taylor. It appears to show the officer riding over the head of a person lying on the ground. The Seattle Police Department isn't naming the officer. He's on paid leave while the sheriff's office investigates. The Pac-12 has voted to bring back fall football starting on November 6th with a 7-game season. The conference agreed earlier this month to use daily rapid result COVID tests. UW players are back on campus and in quarantine after a 3-week break. And Ivers is shuttering 2 of its fleet of seafood restaurants until spring. Acres of Clams at Pier 57 and the Salmon House on Lake Union will both close on September 28th. The company blamed the pandemic for the downturn in business. Ivers isn't gone, though. The fish bars are still open, and they recently added barbecue to the menu. This week, Mother Nature threw the switch on fall. And right on time, the rain and wind showed up. And it's Friday. You got the whole weekend ahead to tuck in with a flashlight and some apple crumble. Unless, of course, you're out doing anarchy this weekend. Keita Williams is here. She's an entrepreneur and the founder of Success Bully. Keita, crumble or anarchy this weekend?
All about the crumble.
All right. Good.
All about the crumble. I'll write a letter while I eat the crumble. I'll write several letters.
Okay. Yep. Seattle isn't just the Emerald City. The feds have deemed us an anarchist jurisdiction. Megan McNally is here, too. She is an entrepreneur as well and a lawyer and founder of the F-Bomb Breakfast Club. Megan, welcome. Grandma's Crumble or Anarchist Cookbook?
Well, that's a great question, but I don't think these things are mutually exclusive, Trish. I think the crumble is what fuels us to get out there and anarchy a little.
I love it. According to the Department of Justice, Seattle, Portland, and New York are anarchist jurisdictions, and I find this wild. That doesn't even make sense. Anarchy is not jurisdictionable. And, the other drama this week, real drama here, happened at City Hall. First, for the guy in the back who is not keeping up, the city council passed a bill last month that would fundamentally change the Seattle Police Department. Budget cuts, 100 officers laid off. The mayor vetoed it. This week, the council overrode her veto. It's not a huge amount of SPD's budget, but it sends a message that the council is determined to do what protesters have asked for, which is blanket, right? Defund SPD, do something. Megan, do you see a bridge over this divide?
Well, first, it's funny you'd mention bridge since I'm in West Seattle and we don't have one.
Well, there's that.
There's a lot to fix in this city right now. But in terms of bridging the divides, I don't think activists have asked for blanket defunding of the police. What they have asked is that we decrease the funding that we provide to law enforcement and increase the funding that we provide to services that could actually help ensure people can live healthy, safe lives that allow them to thrive in this city. And I think that's a reasonable ask. It is quite remarkable to watch the council continue to push back against the mayor. It's unprecedented, and it's quite amazing to watch.
Keita, you're in Bellevue. How does this political drama look from across the lake?
So I adopted a Shar-Pei puppy in the last week and a half. So while I'd like to be really plugged in, potty training is eating up my life right now. So I just want to caveat that I have the squishiest, cutest Shar-Pei puppy. If anyone needs a pick me up, you can go to his Instagram. It's called Dante on the Daily. That's neither here nor there. Nothing about 2020 surprises me at this point. Like all of the there's nothing for us to compare this to, and all of that is playing out in the every part of the economy. It's playing out in politics. It's playing out in our personal interactions. It's playing out in everything. So I'm not surprised that there's conflict. I'm more concerned about how are we keeping Seattle safe? Like, how are we keeping Seattle safe for all its citizens?
And these are not new demands. These are not new things that people are asking for. We have had ample opportunities to make these changes in reasonable, constructive, productive ways. And instead, we just blew the whole thing up.
Yeah, a little powder keg scenario going on there.
That's aggressive, Seattle. That's a little bit of a switch. I'm wearing my Ruth Bader Ginsburg t-shirt today. It's a drawing of her in her collar that says, "You want the Ruth, you can't handle the Ruth." 2020, with its unrelenting pace, has hit us with this too. Megan, you're an attorney. What did it mean for you to hear this news about RBG?
That the universe took her from us when we perhaps needed her the most. It was another gut punch. It really was difficult. It's hard not to take personally, as well as just recognizing this enormous legacy before us. But I don't feel like we have time to mourn RBG. That's the problem. Yep. I would love that we had the luxury to sit around with our friends and sip rosé and talk about all of her landmark dissents, and majority opinions. But we don't have that luxury because the Republic is on fire.
Keita, where were you when you found out about RBG?
Taking the aforementioned puppy for a pee-pee break.
You got to be somewhere, man. You got to be somewhere.
It was no, why moments. And he's looking at me like, what? I didn't go in the house. So yeah, that's where I was, full disclosure.
I had to pull over. The car, and I had to call my husband, and I had to say, sit down. It's hard to shock my husband, but he was stunned silence on the other end of the phone. And I wonder now, who is the leader who fills this space? Where do we look now for guidance, for inspiration?
I think the answer is we can't keep relying on a single person or a single superhero to save the day. Where we have to look for inspiration is now in the fucking mirror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I have heard that before. There is a danger in the cult of personality in movements. And perhaps this is a good lesson, because someone else pointed out, if the linchpin of our democracy is Ruth Bader Ginsburg holding on, then we're in a terrible state in our democracy, and we need to be doing more on the individual level.
Amen.
Well, time to get your flu shots. You could take that step.
Yeah!
Get your flu shots.
Flawless transition.
Got my flu shot and my first shingles shot last Saturday. That's how I cheered myself up from RBG's death.
Hey. Get into it.
That's right.
Is a shingle shot, that's the sign that you've arrived when you get your shingles?
It means you're old.
Well, I was going with arrival. I wasn't going with old, because I'm right behind you.
Yep, it is the first week of fall, ladies. Are you ready for the rain? We're a big rain household here. So, Keita, rain? No rain?
Oh, I'm all about it. I just the soups, stews, warm bread, and just yes, give me a blanket.
Megan,
I'm ready.
You like the rain?
I don't think I have a choice, right? It already started.
That's right. You're here now.
Where am I going to go?
I have to admit, I am just slightly worried about my state of mind this fall with the sense of impending doom that I feel, and the pandemic. It's kind of harsh in my fall vibes, but I'm trying to take control where I can, right? Keita, I'm curious, because you're the success bully. How do I create a space, right, that's going to work for me this fall to be successful?
We practice this whole thing called New Year's in October. And the idea that it takes 33 to 66 days to develop a new habit, 90 days before you see results. So rather than work on your New Year's resolutions January 1st, start in October so that you already have that rhythm. So if there's that thing you've been pushing off, like, I'll do that next year, now's a good time to get started on it. And we kind of have an idea that if 2020 was an absolute hot mess and a dumpster fire, 2021 is probably going to be a smaller dumpster fire, but it's still going to be like, it's not going to be like a 3-block dumpster fire. It's going to be like a 1.5 block dumpster fire. Right. So like, we know what we're up against. We know we're probably still going to be socially distanced. We're probably still going to be remote. The kids are probably still going to be, learning at home. So like, we kind of like, it's not a lot of guesswork for what's coming down the pipe.
Yep. I don't know about you guys, but I made my first chicken pot pie of the season over the weekend. I'm getting psyched for all those fall cooking smells, which I just love. They're very comforting to me. Megan, do you have a fall food that you like to cook?
I have fall foods that I like to eat, and it's really anything salty and fatty that I can shove in my pie hole.
We got to go out to eat, Megan. I think we'd be down for the same kinds of foods.
There's a lot of comfort eating going on in this house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Keita, what are you throwing in the oven since it's safe to turn the oven on?
Okay, so I'm one of those weirdos with the Instapot.
Oh, I love an Instapot.
That's gotten too far. I've gone too far. Like, I haven't turned my oven on in a while because, like, I'm so into the Instapot. So it's going to be a lot of soups and stews. It's going down.
Yeah.
Beef stews happening.
Yes, Keita, I love my Instant Pot. I love it. I love it.
Yes. I'm in a Facebook group about it. All of that.
I know. I have to mute the Facebook group, though.
A lot of opinions about pulled pork,
And like, yogurt chatter, man. Yogurt fails. I'm over all of your yogurt fails. Read the instructions. It's all about temperature, people.
Follow the instructions. It's real easy.
Buy yogurt. Just buy yogurt.
Right. Just buy yogurt.
So many types and kinds and flavors and sizes of fucking yogurt from every single mammal that lactates. Like, why do you need to make your own?
It's artisanal. It's artisanal. Oh, my goodness. That is our show for this week. Thanks again to my guests, Keita Williams, the Success Bully, and Megan McNally, lawyer and entrepreneur. Appreciate your time, ladies.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Seattle Now is produced by Clare McGrane, Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Sophie Reed, and Jason Pagano. Matt Jorgensen does our music. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you Monday. Hey, I'm Patricia Murphy, host of KUOW's Seattle Now podcast. KUOW and NPR rely on the support of listeners to keep you up to date on facts, tell important stories, and hold our leaders accountable. If you value this service, help us meet our fall fundraising goal by pitching in any amount before September 30th. Use the link in the show notes to make your gift. Thanks.